Welcome to our Design Masterclass. Probably one of the most exciting features for our Design Masterclass is seeing what you're going to be creating. And I have to suggest that this is probably one of the most incredible pieces that we're going to give you the chance to create. Take a look at this, a feature piece of jewellery as designed by Karon Crawford herself. This is the ultimate in Bollywood style. We're talking about the luxury, the splendor, the impact of colors and detail, and that's what we're going to take you step by step within this design masterclass to create. Yes, by the end of this hour, we're hoping that you will be able to achieve this very look for yourself. But if you need it, if you need this look in your life, then you also need the ingredients, and we're going to give you the chance to get everything within this look for just one price tag. So we're going to give you a full bundle, and that bundle is to give you the exact look. This is not just giving you a style, this is giving you the exact look as you see it in this piece here that Karon has created. And Karon's going to give us her time and give us her incredible skills and take us step by step throughout this amazing design. And you know, when you start to look at a piece like this, I don't know about you, but I go, wow, where do you begin? Well, we will take you through the ABCs and all the way through to the Z's of this amazing design. But first of all, as I say, we need the ingredients, and I'm going to give you the chance to get them right away. We're starting off with the wire, because I think for a lot of people, that's where you'll start to go, wow, that is some serious design in wire work. You need the wire, and you need it in 1mm gauge. We're going to give you 100 meters. Now, I make the presumption that although you're going to use a lot of wire within this design, you're not going to use 100 meters of 1mm gauge, that's for sure. But you've got it there, 100 meters of your 1mm gauge. Now, this is your chartreuse. It's got that energy, that vivacious springtime appeal. So anybody who's looking to get that spring and summer look into their jewelry collection, I'm sure this wire will come in handy with that. Sticking with the wire, we're going to stick with 100 meters again, but this time we're going with 100 meters of your 0.4mm gauge. And that means that you're getting 200 meters of wire in total. 0.4, probably one of the most versatile for your threading, perfect for your weaving. Take a look at this. I mean, we are talking probably around about what, at least 30 to 40 pounds worth of wire, if not that. In fact, if I think about it, that's got to be 40, it's got to be over 40 pounds in wire alone within this bundle. Let's not forget, we're doing a bundle offer, so that means that we're not talking separate pricing though, although we should keep it in mind that if you bought them separately, over 40 pounds you'd be paying on that combination already. This is a bundle though, and this is your masterclass designer look, so therefore we're going to give you the chance to create this look and also create it for an affordable price tag, and that's the words, affordable. JewelleryMaker and affordable, I think they pretty much walk hand in hand, don't they? So let's give you the gemstones. Let's give you the gemstones that work so beautifully within this Bollywood design. You have here statement gemstones, incredible colours, beautiful textures. You've got your fossil jasper, and I think this colour of the jasper is so different. It's got a really unique palette about it. Whether you'd call it maybe a blush pink, those lovely rich tones, those dark and dramatic, and yet feminine and sophisticated in exactly the same way. But it's not so much the colour that I want to talk about, it's the pattern. This is quite simply history in the making. This gemstone captures Mother Nature as she forms the Earth's crust. That's what you're looking at here. Individual fossils that have brought together this beautiful texture to your gemstone. These are, they're not small, they are 40 by 30, and again, you're only using 3 within this neckline piece, so leaving you with a further, what, at least 5 to work with for future events and future looks. I mean, singular pendants, always going to look very, very nice against the neckline. Features for the wrist as well. So although you're using 3 within this, as I say, you do have more to work with in the future as well. Add it as well with blue agate, faceted rice beads, and also stripe agate. All together, the colours with me are perfectly tropical. We're looking here at the ocean blues, looking at the darker coral reefs working against the lighter Indian Ocean tones. turquoises. Beautiful plethora of colour. We really are talking about a summer holiday of sky and blue seas. Beautiful qualities within this combination. Faceted gemstones to add that dazzle. You know, when you see the sun hitting off the ocean, it often shimmers as the movement of the waves take place. You get that movement, but this time from the facets of the gemstones, you get that sparkle of the sun dazzling off the ocean, just as you get the facets dancing on each one of the light play, as you see in each one of those gemstones. Beautiful, beautiful colours, really exciting. And when I start to look at this combination, I instantly go, who knew that I would put these colours and these textures together and instantly see such an exciting result? And that's one of the things I think from a design masterclass, what's something that we've got to take on board. You think of colours and you think of textures, and then think outside the box again, and the resulting jewellery could be probably one of your finest creations yet. Here you have a combination. Over 200 meters of wire. You've got a combination of over 1,200 carats. That's over 1,200 carats of genuine gemstones. And this is your opportunity to get every ingredient you need to get started and creating your Bollywood-inspired Karon Crawford neckline piece. Your price tag for this amazing combination is what? Well, I have to say, I'm already breaking down that's £40. So what, we've got to be talking 40, what, 55? I mean, well over 1,000 carats. What price tag do you think? How low can we go? You want to create that piece of jewellery, we want to make it affordable for you to do so. Your price tag on this bundle is just, wow. Wow, $59.95. $59.95. Bearing in mind that you've got some sizable 700 carats within that fossil jasper, 700 carats. I mean, that in its own right's got to be what, 15 plus pounds? That's what I'd look at least. I'd look at the quality of that strand. So if that's the case, we're looking at £40 for the wire at least. Again, £15 at least for the fossil. But well, there you've got it. There's already your budget blown. An amazing deal, $59.95 for this incredible opportunity to create the Bollywood look, inspired and created by Karon herself. And talking of Karon, we have the lady in waiting right here, going to take us step by step to this amazing design. I don't know really how we're going to begin, but that's because I'm not the creator or the designer. We're going to take the inspiration and hopefully. And hopefully you're going to take us slowly, because I look at a piece like this and go, wow, there are so many elements coming together. Where did you begin in terms of your thought process on this?
Well, the idea for me was to make something that was quite organic. I wanted it to look like it had grown rather than it had been sort of made with wire, which I think has been achieved there. For me, it looks almost like something in the undergrowth there that's alive with the patterns coming from the fossil jasper there. It almost looks animal-like for me. It almost sort of like snakeskin.
Oh, that's really interesting.
That was the idea. As soon as I saw them, that was the idea I wanted to go with, really.
You know what I find fascinating is that for me, I'm looking at almost a 3D piece.
Yeah.
I'm not just looking at a flat neckline. No. I'm looking at waves. I'm looking at movement. Yeah. You know, I mean, just if I hold it there, look at this. I mean, that's attention to detail. You've not gone for and as I say, it almost vine-like formation.
That's it. Yes, exactly that. Yes. That was what I was hoping to achieve with it. Most definitely.
I think you've most certainly achieved it there. I think it's fair to say. It's beautiful. And for part of my thoughts, I was thinking, well, you've done so much detail there, and then all of a sudden you get another wave of detail that moves here. It does have this very oceanic quality, although the colours don't give you that. Actually, the movement within the piece gives you an ocean feel. Yeah. Really beautiful. And if you took if you took this combination and changed up the the colours. I wonder what it would then transform itself into, you know, if you use maybe some of the turquoises and, you know, with the wire. There's the opportunity to really play with those colours, couldn't you?
Oh, definitely.
I will just turn this to the back as well, because we are going to take you step by step to create this whole piece. And so I want to be able to really just show you every part of the detail that Karon has placed, so that you know what you've got to go through to get to the result. So Karon, where is it best to start on a piece like this?
Well, you've got to have a frame to put all of these things on, and I think that's where we're going to start here. What we've done here is we've cut 6 pieces of the 1mm wire, and they'd be approximately 2 foot long each piece.
Okay.
So you're going to take 3 pieces and straighten them as best you can. You haven't got to be too precise about it, but as near as you can to getting them straight and sitting together. So we're going to start at the top end of the necklace, and we're going to take one of those pieces of wire and we're going to bend it at an angle there.
Okay.
And that's going to wrap around the top of your wires. If I hold them there together with the, I'm using the nylon coated pliers, because we're dealing with coated wire. So the nylon coated pliers are ideal. You don't want to be damaging it. You don't want, you want this piece to look as obviously as good as you can. And we're taking that wire then around the other 2. And that's going to secure the end of the necklace. That will eventually become part of your clasp. This you can just snip off.
Okay.
Like so. And you can just use your nylon pliers again just to sort of flatten that against your work, so that you've got no bits of wire sticking into your skin or catching on your clothing. If you want to, you can just file the end a little bit just to make sure that's nice and smooth. Now what I do is, rather than just keep those wires straight sitting side by side, I'm going to just slightly twist them together. The reason I'm doing that is it gives a bit of a grip for the other wire to attach to, so that it's actually quite solid when you're putting all these little pieces, building the necklace together, and you're putting all these little pieces on. You want them solid like that. You don't want any movement if at all possible. So twisting these wires together in order to achieve that bit of grip there for the 0.4 wire. And you don't have to make that too tight a twist. That can be just nice and loose there like that. And then when you get down to where you approximately want to be, and I'm going to say that's probably about 20 centimetres along.
Yes.
So what you do then is you cut yourself just a little piece of the 0.4mm gauge wire, and you need 6 to 8 inches, if that really. And you're just going to secure that twist together by wiring that around. You're going to snip. You can do that as many times as you like. I've probably gone round about half a dozen times there. And you just snip those ends. When you're snipping the wire, it's a good idea to sort of do it to the top of your work rather than underneath it. And again, simply for the sake of not having anything digging into the skin or into your clothing. And you can press it into place there with your nylon pliers. You're going to separate your wires then, because you want to make a nice frame, nice base. You've got some large pieces there, so you want something solid for them to sit on.
So here?
Yeah. So you're going to separate those wires out, and it's probably better if I show you it this way around. Let's move those a second. So we're going to have, and it's got to come down a bit because it's going to come going to curve around this way, so you want it to sort of be bending down a wee bit so that it comes around the neckline. It drops down a little bit lower than the rest of the necklace there.
I wonder if it's worth me just dropping this here.
That's it.
So that we can just get an idea of the movement that you're trying to create.
That's it. You're already...
So you're just trying to get that curvaceousness, and you're trying to get that, and you've got that here, haven't you? So that's what we're trying to replicate here.
Because those rectangles aren't going to sit side by side, straight side by side. They're going to be at an angle.
Yes.
Which is going to be achieved by fitting them onto this part of the frame. So what we're going to do then is, when you've got your shape and the right size of your frame for your gemstones there, you're going to just cut another piece of
You almost need
wire.
more than one hand.
You
at
do
the moment,
actually,
don't you?
you do, yeah. And just to secure that in place. And just enough times to make sure that's not going anywhere. Again, snip your wire ends to the top of the work and push those ends down with your fingernail because it's quite soft, and I like to always press it in place there. And you've got yourself a nice little frame ready for putting your stones on. These tails could be left to the very end because they're going to hide.
To say that, yes.
They're going to hide all of this wire work that you're going to have on the ends there, and obviously you don't want that showing. You want that to sort of, if you'll see, I've got a lot of wire work underneath, but on top it's hidden with the spirals and the gemstones, so that you're not seeing any of that.
And I think with wire work, quite a lot of people get quite put off because it almost gets messier before it then becomes orderly again.
Exactly.
And you get to that point where you go, oh, I'm all of a tither.
Yeah.
But actually, once you get beyond that, you'll then start to get to the point where you're bringing it all together in one part.
Exactly that, yes.
So don't be put off.
And you'll do the same then for the other side. Is that you're going to secure it at the top,
yes.
Twist it around, and then when you get to the bottom, if I do that quickly, again you probably want a little bit longer at the top than this one. So whereas this one would be about 7 or 8 centimetres, this one needs to be about 10.
And this is the other
this is
side,
going to be the
this
hook.
This
is going to be the hook. That's going to be the eye. This is going to be the hook, and obviously you've got a gemstone attached to that, but in exactly the same way.
And I guess in some ways it's always better to leave yourself more than less.
Exactly.
So on this, especially on a project like this, perhaps give yourself an extra inch or two, just to you know, just to have that comfort zone.
That's it, and you can afford to do it with this as well because you've just got so much wire here. You're not going to run out in a hurry. You're really not.
No,
so,
I was going to say 200 metres. I'm figuring is probably going to go quite a while.
Yes, exactly. And look. Try that again. Give yourself a good grip, and then you can take that wire.
And really, those nylon jaw pliers are truly invaluable on a task like this. Really, are
definitely. Definitely for this type of wire. Yeah, definitely. So there you have it, and then you're just going to twist around. Sorry, let's get that bit out of the way.
There is lots of parts on this.
Health and safety tip: please make sure you're wearing some sort of goggles, glasses, because if you get one of these poking you in the eye, you're straight to A&E.
Not nice. Yeah.
And these are long strips of wire, and I've come close to poking myself in the eye a few times. So
actually, the glasses that you're wearing right now, they're not for sight; they're for protection.
Both. Because my eyesight's dreadful. Thanks to the jewellery making. And you're going to take this twist about 25 centimetres down the length of your wire, and you're going to attach that. Then you're actually going to attach it here. So from the top of this curve,
Yeah.
And you're going to attach it here, and then I'll show you the one.
And how are you going to attach it? Are you attaching it with
again
just
with the 4?
Yeah, with the 4 mil. Just give it a bind.
So that what you're ending up with then is that. So you've
now
attached
makes
it
absolute
there,
sense.
and you've got your frame there for putting your.
So this is the part that you've just brought together.
That's it.
And you're bringing it on the single to then have still the bulbous area, and this is for your pendants.
This is
then you've got your stream coming off here of your individual parts, which I presume you're going to step by step take us through later on.
You can already see the shape of the necklace.
Instantly.
You getting together.
And again, this is probably the part that will take quite some time, because you want to get it right, because if you're going to get the frame right, it's a bit like building a house. There's no point in digging the wrong size foundations for the size house that you need to build. So you may as well get the foundations right on your neckline piece and get it right the first time, than get halfway through the project and go, I should have done that at the beginning. So this is the time to take time, isn't it?
It is indeed, actually. And yeah, a good strong foundation, and then you can start putting all the important bits on, which are the bits that are actually going to show when you're wearing the piece.
Okay.
You're going to start now. The next step is to obviously put these slabs onto the frame. Again, you're going to be using your 0.4 gauge wire, and you want quite a long length. So you're talking about a metre, yes.
And are you using a long length because you're not just going to? Are you putting them all on together?
Yes, I want to put them all on one strip.
See, she's smart like that. She's not going to go individual. This is a masterclass. This is literally going extreme.
So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you secure your wire onto where you want to put your stone. So all I'm doing is I'm hooking it round there.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm bringing it round the top of the frame there and securing. You can put that round a couple of times just to make sure that's secured. There we go. And so you're going to be putting this on at an angle. So you're taking your wire through your gemstone.
Yes.
And you want it to sit at an angle, so you want that top frame to be as close as possible to the top of the hole drilled there, and the bottom one meeting up.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
The bottom of the stone there, and you're taking that around a couple of times around the bottom of your wire, and then you're taking it back up the back of your work.
And you really are making it solid now, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're attaching it against the top of the frame there just by wrapping it around once, and you're going back down through the stone.
Oh, you're locking it in really now,
You really are. You want that solid. You do not want it coming away from your work.
And the holes are large enough to take the 0.4 a couple of times round, eh?
Easily. These are big holes, and
well, they're big gemstones, aren't they?
Yeah, they're big gemstones. So yeah, you've got ample room to get a couple of goes through there. Again, you're going to attach that then to the bottom wire, and then you're going to take it over and across in like a V shape, so that your 0.4 wire there is in like a V shape.
So we're running down. We've just finished that off. We've done a wrap round, and now we're going to head off in the V to get, one presumes, to the next pendant brought on.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're going to secure that round there a couple of times. Bring it round to the front, and you're going to wire on your next pendant.
And it's you repeat the same premise, I presume, that you do the same look
down. You do
down.
that same look.
Yes.
You put that. Sorry. So you're going to sit that. That's going to go.
Yeah.
At an angle like that, so that it's sitting.
Exactly the same on that same
angle. That's it. And then you go on to put your third one on, and can show you then how that looks.
Here's one she made earlier. Don't you love this?
This is my Blue Peter.
She's an amazing lady.
And if I show you the back of the work, you can see that V shape.
If it's all right, I'm going to hold it like this, so
that shows it better, doesn't it? Yeah,
you can see that perfect. So you can see the V formation that Karon was talking about, wrapping in V foundation. I can't believe how neat it is to lock down 3 big slabs like that. You've made it incredibly neat.
Thank you. Yeah, and because you don't want your work to be too messy, but then it's not overly important either. It's all going to be hidden. It's not going to be shown. And it's all going to look nice and tidy at the end.
Isn't it just? So we're at this point where we've locked down the slabs, and where do we move on from there then?
We want then to frame them.
So we want this part here, like the waves over the top.
Because although these are rectangular slabs, so I wanted them to look a little curvier. So what I did was use the frame in order to give that curve.
Yeah, and it has definitely succeeded. Yeah. It definitely, you know, when it's called like the Bollywood look,
that's it.
You often think of like curvaceousness, don't you?
You do, don't
Actually,
you? Yeah.
They're body movements, and naturally, if you start to think of they've got that body movement which is incredibly curvaceous.
Yeah.
They're the swirls of the patterns and prints of the material are all very curved. There's not much of a hard edge to any kind of Bollywood feeler. So I understand that although you've got the slabs, you kind of wanted to give that curve.
That's it, exactly. And it's a good way of sort of almost changing the shape of your stone, if you like.
Yes, absolutely.
By using it in a different way.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you quickly now how to make one of these little wire.
Oh wow. I'll move that there for a second.
And they're all done individually and they're wired on individually. So, and what you're looking at, you want to sort of leave about 4.5 inches at one end and about 3 at the other end. So in the middle there, you're going to have 4 to 4.5 inches of wire wrapping.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
so
incredibly detailed. Incredibly detailed.
Now I always say when doing this, always use a comfortable length of wire. Doesn't matter if you run out, you can add more.
Okay.
So when I say comfortable length, I usually go, that'll do it. That's my comfortable length.
Just over a metre for you then, eh?
Yeah, up to 1.5 meters, I'd say, entirely up to how you feel comfortable. If you prefer to work with smaller strips, work with smaller strips. Yeah. That's fine. There's no
There
rule.
is no right or wrong on this one.
Yeah, exactly. I think probably better if you're using smaller strips if you're just starting out with wire work, because it's going to be more comfortable for you to use as you get sort of more into it, and you're less likely to tangle your work. I think you can work them with longer pieces.
That's always the thing with wire, that certainly the thinner wire, often they tangle. You know, that the little spring of almost action of it. But as you say, work with what's right for you in terms of length.
And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start attaching the 0.4 gauge wire onto the 2 strips there of the 1 millimeter wire, and we're going to wrap that round a couple of times, about 4 times. I like to do this. And then you're going to bring it under and through the centre of your wires so that it's sticking up through the middle of your wire there. And then you're going to go around the first wire and use a tip. This is a good tip. At the top of the wires there, just bend them both outwards like that. It's going to be easier when you're wire wrapping.
Yeah, if I just
so
show,
so bent
them either way.
Those 2, yeah.
Okay.
So you've taken it around your wire, you're going to take it around your wire again. Then you're going to go over to the other side and you're going to wrap it around.
Yeah, those little kinks just make it a little bit more
yes,
ergonomical
easier.
Almost, isn't it?
It's a good tip. When you wire wrapping like this, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. You know your wire instantly goes down through the centre there, and it makes life a lot easier.
And something like this weave, once you've got into a rhythm of it, one presumes that it just becomes it becomes almost quite a cathartic.
It is. It's a bit like crocheting and knitting. Once you sort of start it, it becomes quicker and quicker as you get used to what you're doing and where you're placing your wire.
Yes.
So. And you'll see that when I go around and I'm pushing it down with my fingers so that it's all sort of being pushed together then, and you're just going to carry on wrapping that around twice one side, twice the other, in like a figure of 8 if you like.
Yes.
And you want it to be slightly thicker throughout the middle.
Yes.
And then you're going to taper and finish on the other side. So
a bit like a pea pod.
Exactly.
You know, when I look at them, I just think a little bit pea pod-esque.
So you are going to end up with a piece that looks like this. So you're going to have tails either side. Now you'll want 3 of them. You're going to need sort of 12 inches of the thicker wire, and obviously as comfortable as you can with the smaller wire. And then you're going to need 10 pieces of 10-inch. So those are the 10-inch pieces, and they're the ones that are coming. There's just this one piece here that's going to be shorter, and then the other 9, which are going to be used as the vines going around the necklace itself.
Perfect.
So okay, and the others then framing the stones, they're going to be the 12-inch pieces.
Okay, so you have a variety of lengths which then give you the different components that then create the additional adds-on and the frames. The frames to the gemstones, etc.
Yep.
Okay, so...
And I'm just going to show you quickly then how to add one of those onto the... around the gemstones there, just so you can see how they're framed. And you basically want to make a sort of an S shape, and they're very, very easy to manipulate with your fingers, really very easy. And you just want that to sort of frame around the stone there. Let's just cut myself a piece of...
I was just about to say, and how do you attach? That was going to be my next question. You're already there. So you're going to attach it with the 0.4?
That's it. Again, all your attaching is going to be done with the 0.4 wire.
Okay.
Because of its being supplyable. So you're going to hold that tail there with your thumb against your work, and you're going to wrap that around a few times.
Bit of tension there? Are you holding quite tightly?
Yeah, you want that to be tight coming around here. You don't want any movement. You want that to be quite tight, your work. I'm going to take it down the middle and over again, and I do that just to secure the wire. Cut it at the top of your work, push it down with your nail, make sure that's into your work there, and the same with this piece here. Push that down with your nail so that the wire is against your work and not against your skin or your clothing. And you see already how it frames the stone. It's
already there. You can already instantly see how it's working.
And again, you're gonna take that around that stone there, and it'll tell you where it wants to go. You haven't got to be too precise about it. They haven't got to look exactly the same. As I said, I wanted this to look like it had been grown, and in nature nothing's ever symmetrical. It's never exact, and this is what I wanted to show in this particular piece, is that you want to take the mysticism away from wire work really, and show people that it really is this easy. It's not difficult. It will go where you tell it wants to go. Sometimes you've got to wrestle it into submission, but in all honesty, it's not that difficult. And you just want to take that over the edge of your stone there. So there you are. There's your first frame in place.
Look at that. You can instantly just
see how that's going to come along.
You know what I think when I see this part of the product? I'm sure at the very beginning, when you start to work with the larger lengths, you go, I'm never going to get to that result. But then when you start to break it down and really appreciate that it is just quite a bit, again, like building a house. Get the foundations, start to add the brick, start to add the cement, then add the windows, add the doors, and you're almost building instantly.
Yeah.
And this feels like we're adding the windows and doors. We're framing the house now. You're framing that piece of jewellery with that beautiful additional detailing. So there's your framework, and one presumes that, as you've said, there is no right and wrong with this next part. To frame it with those waves and those curvaceous feel about the piece.
Exactly. The wire and the stones, they're going to tell you where it's going to be placed, and it's as simple as that, really. And you can manipulate it with your fingers into shape, so that it's hugging the stone. And it really is very pliable for you to sort of just do that with your fingers. You don't need any special tools. It'll do it all with your fingers. So
making the actual frame here, we're talking one that's come round, a further one that's come round, and then you're repeating, is that right?
That's
on the opposite. So there's the four in that section, isn't there?
Yeah, you'll have one come in around here, you'll have that one there, and then the last one there, and you've got that little piece there. That's why I said you've got a shorter piece that comes around.
The shorter one. So the shorter one comes round to the base there.
And I can show you that then in this piece here. This is my other.
Karen, here's one she made earlier. All right, I made this one earlier.
And you can see it's going to look a mess when you think, oh my God, what have I gone wrong? This looks dreadful. Because at first this is how it looks, and it does look a mess, and you think, how is that ever going to hide any of this? It's not going to. It will.
I'm quite pleased that you thought that as well. I'm quite pleased that the expert would often go, wow, have I done this wrong? Is this? But you're quite confident in the fact of it's got to look messy before it looks finished.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can do all the fine tuning once you've got all your elements in place, and you're going to with these, for instance, they're going to go under and over. So
we're now on to, we've done the framing of the gemstones, and now we're just going to create the wave effect up here on the opposite side of the neckline piece. So I will show you profile as well, just keep on so you can see there is a definite undulation within the design itself.
There you are, and again manipulating them with your finger into the shape, and you want that curve not to just be an S shape, but you want it to sort of be...
Looks like a roller coaster ride.
Exactly. You want a bit of a dome in there so that it's not a flat piece.
You could do some research. You could go to a variety of theme parks and maybe choose which roller coaster ride you want to replicate. Yeah. I'll go to America for you if you want. I don't mind going to those theme parks, that's fine. Just for research purposes.
So you're going to attach that, as I've done with these, you're going to attach that piece and all of the others underneath your work there. And then as you come around these, so that these are going to sort of, like you say, undulate, and these then are going to be attached. You're going to weave them in and out so that they're attached at the top here.
So you're actually, it feels like you're almost plaiting them, but they're not. They're just waving over the one on each other, aren't they? They're coming up and over.
Exactly that, yeah. So that when they are attached, they actually do look like they're plaited, but in actual fact, it's a lot simpler.
It's just that movement, it is. Yeah. And that's what I mean, the visuals. That's why perhaps when you start to look at it, go, oh, I don't think I could do that. But actually breaking it down once more, as we've said, it just
this is it, yeah.
Makes sense.
So you've got all of these pieces then that are jutting out and waiting to sort of be tidied up. So
the one part I've noticed that you've added, which we haven't talked about yet, is this little detail here, which is just the
tails.
Yes,
they're just the tails that you had left over from the frames. These are your tails. And
so those are the tails of the lattice.
That's it.
Oh my goodness.
So you're curving them around. You're going to be putting your round beads on there, and believe it or not, they just sit in place. You don't need a crimp bead, none of it. They'll just sit in place because of the curve.
Really?
Yeah, I was so pleased when I realised that. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how pleased I was when I discovered that.
A a little celebration with hair.
Yeah, it was. There's me putting it on the wrong one already. So if I show you, straighten them out, obviously. And you just curve them around. What you do, obviously better curve than that, take more time with it than I do. And because it's curved,
it's not moving.
It's not shifting anywhere. It won't. Because the wire is thick, and because of the curve, the bead can't shift. It's on there. It's on there tight.
Isn't that amazing? And so you're doing, if we can show this like so. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have called them waves because that's part of how I feel about the whole piece. But you've got those. How do you finish those off then? What are you gonna? How do you bring them down so that then you know that they're not going to move?
And it's basically all you do is you curve them round, and you make with your round nose pliers there, just make a loop. And you tuck it underneath your frame.
Oh, you've hooked them.
Hooked it underneath the frame there, and you're just going to need to use your round nose pliers again just to bring that little. I don't know if you can see me doing that. Can you see that okay? I know there's a lot of wire.
Can I hold that? If I get you to hold there, and we'll just get just here. So what we've got here is we've got the wave of the wire, then you've hooked it, and now you're about to close it.
Then I'm going to close that loop. Like so, so that it's attached to that wire, it's not going anywhere. There we are, there's your first loop. Obviously do it tidier than me, I'm doing it quickly now, but...
I can show you here, this is probably quite a good one to show.
Yeah.
You see the hook there? Just there. So you can see how it hooks under and over and you've got it all acting, but it still gives movement because you haven't actually like anchored it totally. There is just that little bit of movement, which isn't a bad thing because it just adds a little bit more flexibility within the piece because it's quite a structural piece, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yes. Despite the fact there's quite a free moving, it's a free form piece, it's still quite structured in technically.
Yes,
it's still quite structured, yeah.
So, where are we?
Right.
We've done our waves.
We've got all this.
We've got the add-ons of all of the weaved bonuses. So far, we've created our framework, we've created our waves up, but we've got quite a lot of
tidying to do.
Yes,
There's
we do.
A lot of tidying up to do. And this is where our spirals will come into play.
Yes.
Now then, for the first one there, I added one of the beads, one of the round beads, and I've brought it down because there's quite a lot of wire work here to hide, so it was a matter of putting a bead on, as I discovered, to help that to sort of look quite tidy. Again, you're going to start with your round nose pliers, and I want you to make sure that you can see this properly. Okay, you're going to grip that with your round nose pliers and you're going to make a loop. And then with your, again with your nylon jaw pliers, you're going to grip that loop about halfway along and you're going to make a spiral. Why do these never happen for me when I'm on JewelleryMaker? At home and there's not a problem at all. Let's just give that a bit of a nudge.
Give it a tweak. You make it work.
I think for the demonstration purposes I'm going to put down the nylon jaw ones and use the metal ones. And I'm trying to move the work rather than the plier, if you see what I mean, but it's difficult when you're doing a demo because you're away from the work, if you see what I mean.
Yes, you're not in your standard position.
No. But
so you're just creating the spiral.
You're just making the spiral. I'll do this as quickly as possible so that we can show how that tidies everything up.
And it's about hiding. Well, I wouldn't like to call your work messy because that's just not true. But there's
mess there to
the
be.
Messier parts of
That's it, exactly. Get around there, that's it. Here we go. Sorry, I'm hiding that with my hands so you can't see
No,
it.
it's fine. We've got it.
Not all. Right, and then what you're going to do is once you press that down, instantly, there we are, you've got that part of your wire work completely hidden. And you just form
So clever.
these other strips then, these are the 3 little strips, as I've done there, into those 3 spirals.
And that literally is just then, one presumes, a build-up of spirals and the detail from every one of the little spikes that are left over from the pea pods of the weave.
That's it, and you just form those into spirals so that they hide this end here.
Yes.
So all of this wire work here is going to be hidden
Hiding.
with the use of the spirals.
Wow.
Right, and basically then you want to, with these bits that are sticking downwards, you're going to make one into a spiral to hide the work,
Yes.
as you've done before. The other one is going to have the long rice bead attached to it.
So you do one spiral, and then you're going to attach one of
you
the
want the
rice
spiral
beads.
to hide the work, the wire
You've got
work.
one spiral, and you're going to have a rice bead. You've got one spiral, and then you've got one rice bead. So one of each.
That's
one
it.
spiral, one
That's
rice
it.
bead.
And that will be on the bottom end of your scrolls there.
Okay.
So on the bottom end of your scrolls, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have the rice bead and a spiral. Okay?
Yes.
So you want to trim that piece of wire down to about a centimetre, say. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to trim that down and then just form a loop with around those pliers. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a spiral on the end of them and not bother to trim them at all. And you could just have a spiral on the end of your bead. There's no reason why you shouldn't. I just put loops, but you can put spiral there if you prefer, just a little bit of added decoration if you want to. So adding those beads is as simple as that.
So one bead, one spiral, and that's on every one of
That's on every one of
the
those
drops.
scrolls. And then as you come up the necklace, on the other side there, you'll see I have in fact put the round beads with a spiral on the end,
Perfect.
as well as the spiral at the top of the bead there to hide the work.
Just here, here, and here. And then again the spiral, moving on. And these are all just additions, just adding that detail all the way around, all the way around. One presumes that we're now at the point where we've added the decoration and we now need to actually be able to wear it, so we need the clasp.
That's it, exactly. So,
Now you've done the hard work, now it's time to enjoy wearing it, so you need
That's
that
it.
clasp, please.
so you're going to probably need to trim that just a little bit. I always like to have more than I need. It's always better to have a little bit too much than too little and not be able to use, and then have to start all over again. So I'm probably going to cut that down by about 1 inch, I would say. And this is going to be the eye. And I'm going to take both wires in your round nose pliers, and you probably need them at, I'd say, about 2/3 of the way down your round nose pliers. And you're going to form a loop, reposition it, grab it again, and then using your thumb to bring it round. And it's as simple as that to make your eye.
God, that's safe. That was easy.
Yeah, that's how easy it is. There's the eye part.
Hold that up now.
There you go.
So it is still decorative eye, really,
It is,
isn't
isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. So that is this section just here. Okay.
All right.
So then,
And then you're going to make your hook.
Hook.
So if I can just have that for reference. There we go. Lovely. So what we're doing is we've put the bead onto the one wire.
If I drop it like that, and then everybody can see what they're
There you go.
actually going to create.
So you've got a wire that's not going to be doing anything because both wires won't go through the bead. up through the bead. So what you want to do is wrap it around for decoration, really.
Okay.
So you're sort of like doing a little bit of decoration around your bead, and then you're wrapping it around the end to secure, bringing the two wires back together. Okay, so that you've got a little S shape around your bead. You've secured it at the end there, and now you're going to make your hook. Again, you're going to need to trim your wires down to about, I'd say about 1.5 inches. So you want that piece there to be about 1.5 inches. There we go. So the first thing you're going to do is you want that little detail there, that little loop at the end of the hook. You're going to do that first.
This bit?
That's the bit. Yeah, just that little. And so you want to use the very end of your round nose pliers. Tease that around. Make it as tight as possible for the end of your hook there. Then you can sort of start to form the hook shape. You can use your round nose pliers as well to sort of get that around. You want to kink it back a little bit where you see the at the base there. You just want to kink that back a little bit. And we've got one of the loops there not behaving, so you can just do that individually. Make sure that that's, and then use your fingers then to bring the hook together. If you want to, if you find that your hook is not staying together, you can always get an odd piece of wire and just secure those end pieces there together so that your hook stays as one piece. That was clever. How did I manage that? Never mind, we can snip that off.
What I like is that if there is ever a problem, then you're not to get too frightened off. You just got to work through it, I presume.
That's it, exactly. There you go. Squeeze that around with your chain nose pliers, just to make sure that's crimped in place. There we are. Flatten any wires down then with your nail. And so you've secured your hook together there, and then you just make sure that it's in the right shape that you want and in the right position, and that just hooks onto there. There we are, like so. And that's your clasp.
Let me just move that there. So we've just got that there, so I'll just it was another piece of wire that was coming up into the screen. We're like, where's that wire from? And it's not, it's just an addition. Just like that. Just like that. And that's your clasp.
And that's the clasp. It's as easy as that.
And I have to say, I think for me, because this is such a solid piece, the clasp needs to be equally solid. It needs to have that strength about it.
Well, yeah, there's quite a lot of hefty gemstones on here. So rather than having a separate clasp that might not be quite as secure as you'd want it to be, it's actually part of the frame.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
actually attached, so it's not going anywhere. And it's going to be nice and solid, and you've got 2 pieces of the 1mm wire there used as your clasp, and it's not going anywhere. That's staying.
It really is staying strong. This is the type of piece that I think for a lot of people may have seen at the very beginning of this masterclass and thought, I'm not going to get to that point. Surely I couldn't create something like this. But I'm sure you'll agree with me, Karon breaking it down step by step, it really does make it achievable, doesn't it? It makes it totally understandable. And one of the things that I guess for us to have somebody like yourself in and inspiring us, it's probably best for us to ask, in terms of your creativity, are there any handy hints that you need that you kind of find stimulus from? What is it that begins your journey to create something like this?
Yeah, I think you always start with a sort of seed of an idea. The minute you see the gemstones, you think, oh, you're right. I've got I've got a colour scheme there that says exotic. So straight away you're thinking exotic design. I certainly was. And from there on, from my own point of view, I tend to go on the internet a lot and look at images of maybe Indian jewellery or Egyptian jewellery, and I'll look at those and I'll think, right, okay, if I sort of take a bit of that design, a bit of that design, a bit of that design, that's going to work in with the gems that I've got and the wire that I've got, and I can create something that's almost a hybrid, if you like, of what I've seen. So that's my process. That's one that I use quite a lot, and I always keep an ideas folder.
That's what I was about to say. So if you don't get to make a piece of jewellery instantly, do you store that somewhere? You have a folder of ideas.
Yeah, and you refer back to them. It's been an immense help for me to because I do a lot of the magazine work as well, so for me I've got to have constant stimulus there in order to sort of keep that the creative juices going, if you like.
And do you often find yourself looking back on a piece and then finding something that can stimulate something that you've already created, but perhaps something that can then be channeled in a different way?
Exactly, yeah. I do a lot of that, actually. I find a technique that's worked well on one piece and then just change it slightly and use it onto another piece, so that you sort of form your own style, if you like, by doing things like that. But people sort of instantly know that it's your piece when they see it in the magazines. Lots of people have said that. I knew that was yours the minute I opened the magazine.
That's interesting,
before I saw your name.
Yeah, no matter what your stimulus, you obviously take it and you assimilate it in another way to what's right for you. Well, I'm sure you'll agree that this is a fantastic masterclass, and we're going to give you the chance to get all of the ingredients just one more time to remind you everything that you need to get to create this very look, not just a looky like, but actually you could create this very look itself. Everything that you need comes for one price tag of $59.95. It includes 100 metres of your 1mm gauge. Now, how much do you reckon you've actually used out of that 1mm gauge?
God, I mean, well, you can see how much.
Goodness me.
Look at that. I mean, that's going to create that. You know, that's going to create a lot of jewellery.
That's actually, and that's from the 100. You've probably, I'd suggest. Yeah, I'm going to suggest one thing. That 100 is probably going to go a long way, because once you make a piece like this, there's every chance somebody's going to commission it. Somebody's going to commission, so you're going to need a little bit more than that to create another piece on another piece. So you've still got all of that wire left after creating this incredible piece. So all of that's going to go a long way.
It doesn't look like I've got much left on there, but I've had to do what I call my blue Peters, the ones there for
so you've done that with the coil.
So I've actually done 2 lots out of that, and there's been a lot of me wasting things where I've gone, oh my God, I've mucked up, I'm going to have to throw that away and start over again. So a lot of that's gone on as well. So, and I've still probably got a good 10 metres left on there, and
That's amazing. I was going to say, that's still going to go a long way, isn't it?
These take loads of wire, but
it's worth it for the detail, isn't it?
You've still got loads left.
So that's 100 metres of the 1mm, and as Karen says, 100 metres, going to go a long, long way, of 0.4. And of course, these are almost stable diet ingredients for anybody who's a wire worker. So I guess in some ways, once you've got something like this, once this piece has been made and you've created this masterclass, you've then got plenty of other opportunities to perhaps take and harness what Karen's inspired you to create, and then take that into your own designs and perhaps change it up and mix it up. And it'll be lovely to see perhaps in weeks to come from this design what then happens, you know, for our wire workers, how it evolves. Of course, you do get the gemstones as well. This is all for less than £60. You've got feature fossil jasper, 3 of those only used within this one neckline piece, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, on this strand, 7 still left to go, so you could actually essentially make 3 of these neckline pieces within that one strand. You've also got the beauty of your ocean blues of your 2 strands of agate. You've got your faceted rice beads, and you've also got your striped faceted rounds, and those are 12mm. A distinguished combination, an incredible resulting piece of jewellery. It certainly is a design masterclass to achieve probably one of the finest results that you possibly can, and that is a work of art. I'm sure without any hesitation, you've got a phone in your hand, you can join us on 0800 644 655, or you can join us on the web at www.JewelleryMaker.com. It only leaves me with time to say a huge thank you to Karon for her incredible creativity and inspiration. And as I say, I can't wait to see the results in future days and weeks to come. Take care of yourself, and thank you for your company. Goodbye.